Thanks, Mark. One of the top use cases of ChatGPT is health. People use it a lot. You've all seen examples of people getting day-to-day care advice, or sometimes even a life-saving diagnosis. GPT-5 is the best model ever for health, and it empowers you to be more in control of your healthcare journey. We really prioritized improving this for GPT-5, and it scores higher than any previous model on HealthBench, an evaluation that we created with 250 physicians on real-world tasks. To talk about this, I'd like to invite my colleague Felipe and his wife Carolina to share their healthcare journey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Sam.
So to start off with, could you tell us about the healthcare journey that you've been on?
Yeah. So last October, our lives were turned completely upside down when I was diagnosed with 3 different cancers, including an aggressive form of breast cancer, at the age of 39, all within 1 week. And there's just absolutely nothing that prepares you to receive news like this. I found out about the first diagnosis when I got an email notification that my biopsy results were ready. I decided to open it, and when I opened it, I saw the only 2 words that I could understand from the report, which was invasive carcinoma, and I knew that wasn't good, but everything else was just a blur of medical jargon. So I completely panicked, and in that moment did the first thing that I thought of, which was to take a screenshot of the report and put it into ChatGPT to see if it could just help me understand what this meant. And within seconds, it translated this complex report into plain language that I could understand. And in this moment of overwhelm and panic, I had a little bit of clarity about what was going on. And that moment was really important because by the time I got a hold of my doctor and we got on the phone, which was 3 hours after I had seen the report, I had a baseline understanding of what I was facing, and we were able to jump into a conversation about what to do next.
And how have you been using ChatGPT throughout?
I've used it in so many different aspects of my journey, but one of the ways that I found it most powerful is in helping me make critical decisions and in helping me advocate for myself. So to share an example, when I was facing a decision about whether or not to do radiation as part of my treatment, the doctors themselves didn't agree. My case was nuanced and there wasn't a medical consensus on the right path. And so the experts turned the decision back to me as the patient. And for me, bearing the weight of this decision that could have lifelong impact felt really heavy, and I didn't feel equipped to make the call. So I turned to ChatGPT to gain knowledge and understand the nuances of my case. And again, within minutes, it gave me a breakdown that not only matched what the doctors had already shared with us, but was much more thorough than anything that could fit into a 30-minute consultation. And it went further. It helped me weigh the pros and cons. It helped me understand the risks and the benefits. And ultimately, it helped me make a decision that I felt was informed, that I felt I could stand behind when the stakes were so high for me and my family.
Yeah. I mean, for me, what was really inspirational was watching her regain her sense of agency by using ChatGPT. In this moment, it'd be so easy to feel helpless. And there's such a big knowledge gap between what the doctors know and what we know. And however, no one cares more about Carolina's health than she does. And so what I loved was seeing her really empower herself and gain knowledge and become an active participant in her own care journey.
And I think that's a really important point to emphasize. I think that the promise of AI in healthcare isn't in just breakthrough discoveries or better diagnostics. I think it's in creating smarter and more empowered patients that can fully participate and advocate for themselves in their care.
Speaking of that, you've been testing GPT-5. What do you think?
I've been so mind blown about GPT-5 and its capabilities. One of the first things that jumps out at me is just how fast it is. Almost a little alarmingly at first.
I felt that too. It's like, are you sure you thought about that enough?
Did you think long enough? But it is very thorough. And more importantly, it feels more like a thought partner that connects the dots. So rather than just translating information or giving you an answer, it helps you actually navigate the problem.
Yeah, a great example is we actually went back and took our initial biopsy prompts and put them into GPT-5. And GPT-4o had done a great job. It had translated, explained what these words meant, and helped in a way that we can understand. But GPT-5 seemed to understand more of the context and the question behind the question. Like, why would we be asking biopsy results? And so I said, well, here's actually what's not on here yet. Here's what results are still pending that you're going to have to ask about. Here are questions you might want to go ask your doctor and think when you start talking to them. And so it really started to pull together a complete personalized picture. And that's what really inspires us. I mean, you can see all the amazing improvements in the benchmarks, but what is so helpful is that this tool is available today. And the reason Carolina and I are here, and the reason we feel so passionate about sharing our story, is for that individual that's going to get a diagnosis like this today. Those families going through a cancer diagnosis, similar medical diagnosis, are going to face some of the most challenging decisions of their lives. And what really inspires me is that they're going to have access to better tools and support than we had even just 8 months ago.
We're incredibly excited for that too. Thank you so much for coming to share your story. We're pleased that ChatGPT has been able to be helpful to you, and we hope that the new version will really be able to help a lot of people. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.